What makes a game truly timeless? Is it the storytelling, the gameplay, the characters, the music, everything in between? I think Mass Effect 2 embodies all the best top-level aspects of those things and more, and it's why in 2024 I still think this game is pretty fantastic. I just rolled credits on the Legendary Edition for Mass Effect 2 this last weekend, and it really got me thinking how well this game has aged, and I just want to ramble about the experience with you, think through some memories. I'll be talking with Kevin Kulex a little bit later, probably next week, long-form discussion about the Mass Effect series. He's a huge fan of it. Now, 2010, that's when this came out for 360 and Windows. It was a big deal. The hype, the marketing, the whole idea of your choices carrying over into this multi-game series, this trilogy, was really unique, and Mass Effect marketing just was on point back in the day. I ultimately played it on PS3, which came out a year later in 2011, and beat the game, thought it was great, started a new save file immediately, and that is when I started watching other people playing it online, again, early-ish days of YouTube, seeing max level builds and people using the Vanguard class, which is the gameplay you're seeing here. Vanguard class lets you just teleport, charge at enemy's shoulder, hit them, whatever you do, and then blast them with a shotgun. It is a ton of fun, and I could just do that loop over and over again. The Geth plasma shotgun slamming into people, so good. And there's nothing crazy special about the gameplay. It's a third-person cover shooter. You do have the option to build many different team compositions with different abilities, and there is a lot of replayability there. Mass Effect 2 isn't quite as dialed as Mass Effect 3 in this way, and Mass Effect 3 did bring in the really cool Horde-style defend the point mode, which was a lot of fun as well. But still, every level is just a fun romp, and this game was easily digestible for me in little 30, 45-minute chunks each night. The game was super well received back in the day. It was like a 96 on Metacritic for the 360, a 94 on PC. I remember publications talking about the mature storytelling, the complex characters, the refined gameplay. Legendary Edition, brought it to the new generation, new visuals, some gameplay improvements. I won't say it's flawless, but it was a fine way to play the game. It didn't always land the same style and tone as certain scenes from the original, but it did remind me BioWare's magnum opus over here. This game really was so much fun. And I did think the writing was great. Getting the loyalty of the crew. Did you time everything out correctly? Did you make the right choices? And those decisions I've thought about for over a decade now. What I had written down right as I finished the game, all I could want from a video game. Solid from start to finish. The writing and the visuals are still pretty great, especially for their age. The atmosphere and the universe are unparalleled. Shepard's writing in particular always nails the intent of the dialogue wheel choices. From start to finish, my favorite Mass Effect and just a really good game. Plus, the new game plus-ish option that they have at the end is an added bonus where you can just roll your character into another playthrough of the game. You can bump up the difficulty, which is pretty nice. The atmosphere and the universe, that is what really stood out to me, and I'm surprised we haven't had more media about Mass Effect. I think, aren't they working on a show or something like that? The universe is so well fleshed out. The sounds are huge. Just the atmospheric ambiance, the noises, it was so good. One thing that I did miss playing it on PC on the Legendary Edition, obviously hardware has improved, and the PS3 was never known for great load times. But the sounds and the feelings of the load screens on PS3 were so good. Even just moving between decks on the Normandy would take flat forever. But you would hear these cool synths and these spacey sounds that would just put you in the universe. And on PC, every load, it was two or 3 seconds. It was very quick and you didn't really get to experience that. I do think that the writing was great. Pretty much all of the characters on the cast I really enjoy. You want to keep them going until the next game. hindsight is 2020. Playing it originally before Mass Effect 3 came out, no spoilers, but I do feel like the level of choice and impact you have when it comes to the endings, it all ends up down a few pathways. It's not like you're making super impactful choices. But at the time, it felt really cool. Am I going to do a Paragon or a Renegade action here? Which ultimately, again, doesn't really influence a ton of things other than a few dialogue checks. But even today, the game feels remarkably relevant. The structure of the game, you do some story, you go on a mission, and then you progress the story a little bit further. And like I said, you could put down a mission every 30 or 45 minutes. And that's pretty much the amount of time I put into games each day now. And that was really nice. It was kind of perfect. I wasn't embarking on this massive 45, 50-hour journey that I knew would be a big commitment to sit down to. I kind of knew what I was getting myself into, and it feels like even though BioWare was biting off something at the time, which seemed like pretty huge scale, now it seems like a very manageable game. Build a great sandbox with cool abilities and weapons, and then just build levels and tile sets around that so we can tell the story that we want to tell. And somehow, the story does still foster an emotional connection with your crew. The weight of the choices, the journey. If you've never played it, or maybe it's been years since your last playthrough, I definitely encourage you, hop back in and let me know in the comments any favorite moments, characters, etc. How has it impacted you over the years? I never really liked Mass Effect 3 as much. I've played through it a couple of times now, and it just never really landed. I am going to carry this save file into Mass Effect 3 at some point this next year, and see if the game hits me any different now. I never played Andromeda. That's one of those games that I would like to try, but I am still shocked. Such a successful universe, such a awesome legacy, and we really haven't had much in that space ever since. Obviously, live service came into the picture and shifted the trajectory for a lot of these studios. I was really thinking that Anthem was going to be great. I still think the gameplay in Anthem was very fun. They developed something that was pretty cool, but yeah, I hope we get to see some more success stories within the Mass Effect universe going forward. It is too cool and rich of a universe, and that style of game is just fun. I would play it today with a few more refinements and a few visual improvements, etc. Like, you could do a ton with this style of game now. Let me know your favorite Mass Effect. If you played it any time recently. Thanks for watching. I hope everyone's having a really good week. And I will see you again on Friday, hopefully with a new episode of the Dualcom podcast.